How's it going, ladies and Bruce's? I'm Bob Sixkilla. Welcome back to Exit Corners. It's time for Chapter 10, Blue Ink. Let's do it, shall we? I'm excited to see what happens next. It's really escalating fast. I mean, we're at Chapter 10, but the chapters are quite short, you know, so it feels like a fast escalation anyway. Previously, no. What? My son. He's dead, Ink. That's right. Crazy. Well, yeah, I got that part. It's just... I mean, if he's dead, how is it you were talking to him? I've been wondering that all morning, my dear. At first I thought Sint was trying to torment me, but when Earl finally replied to my messages, I couldn't believe it. It's nothing short of a miracle. Let's back up a bit, okay? I hate to be the one to ask you this, but you've only been messaging and musing a Gemini, right? How can you be sure the person on the other end is actually Earl? I asked him questions that only he could answer, of course. At least, keep the garden alive. Come again? At least keep the garden alive. It was the last thing he ever said to me. He remembers it all, Ink. From the first thing he said to me to the last. It doesn't prove anything. Couldn't he have relayed that information to someone else? My mother knows, Ink. It was Earl that I was talking to. Okay, so for argument's sake, let's say it is him you're talking to. So then what? He's back from the dead, I guess. Please, I'm not so naive that I believe that Sint can raise the dead. Then it isn't him. Simple. I'm not quite sure what to think, Ink. Until this morning, I really did believe he was dead. Well, what was his explanation? He tells me he never died, that I'm imagining things. Would it be too invasive to ask how he, passed? He put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. Christ, that's brutal. I'm so sorry, Beth. Damn it. I knew I shouldn't have asked. It's fine. I can understand why you're curious. It's been 14 long years since then. I try to forget, sometimes, to remember his life, not his death. I'm sorry I didn't dig deeper into the issue. I was overjoyed to hear that my son was alive. I didn't care how. No offense, Beth, but this whole thing is extremely suspicious. I'd be careful before jumping to any conclusions. Doesn't really matter now, does it? It isn't as if I'll ever be able to talk to him again. Bits of plastic and glass fell to the floor as Beth tightened her hold on what remained of her Gemini. What about the rest of your family? My family? Do you have any other kids? Grandkids? Why are you so interested? It's important. Trust me. So what's your family like? If you think it's important, then alright. I'll tell you. I didn't want my family to be very large. I myself have 3 brothers and 6 sisters. Oh wow. And nieces and nephews must be beyond counting. My husband had many siblings as well. The 2 of us decided on having a more manageable number of children. Care to guess how many? 1 or 2? 2? 2 maybe? Very good, Ink. You must be psychic. There's no such thing. It's just a guess, is all. 2 years after Earl was born, we blessed him with a baby sister. Her name was Ellen. Earl and Ellen, huh? I like the alliteration. Isn't it lovely? The letter E just happens to run in the family. You mentioned you had grandchildren. I suppose your kids had kids? Indeed. Earl and his wife shared a daughter, and Ellen and her husband were proud parents of twin boys. Twins, huh? They say giving birth to twins is sometimes a hereditary trait. Yes, occasionally. I have 2 sets of twin sisters myself. I still remember the day that Ellen's twins were born. That was probably the happiest I've ever been. Little bundles of joy, the both of them. Excuse the cliche. Ink couldn't help but smile back at Beth as she reminisced. Beth, listen to me. I don't know what happened between you and your son, and I'm sorry that you're no longer able to talk to him, but to me, it seems like you got plenty of other reasons to keep your chin up. The longer you stand around sulking about your Gemini, the less likely it is you'll get to see your grandkids again, not to mention all those nieces and nephews of yours. Keep your head in the game, okay? I suppose I've been acting rather immaturely about this whole thing, haven't I? You're a very sweet young man, Ink. Clever too. Truth be told, you remind me of a young Earl. That's a good thing, right? Very much so. So if that struck you as strange. Let's get going then. I know that whatever time we have left couldn't be put to much better could be put to much better use than hollow flattery or an old woman's stories. Let's just make sure we get out of here in one piece. There will be plenty of time for chit-chat later. It's true. I love chit-chat. Ink followed her into the hallway. Strangely, there was no one there to meet him. Where is everyone? The monitor in here has a blank screen. Does that mean they've already solved the puzzle? Ink ran over to the end of the room and gingerly tugged on the handle. Looks like this door's still locked. If the others aren't here, then that must mean that one of the adjacent rooms is unlocked. How about this one? Beth pushed open the door nearest to her, which hadn't been locked. Let's have a look, shall we? Nothing. There's nobody here and no doors other than the one we just entered. I don't suppose there's anything of use in here. Doesn't look like it. Let's try another room then. Oh, Ether. There you are. I knew I heard someone out here. Are you both alright? You were gone for quite a while. We're fine, dear. Where are the others? We're all in this room over here, furthest on the left. All of the doors are unlocked, but that's the only one with a puzzle on it. I see. I assume Ray and Liza are working on it as we speak? That's right. They could probably use your help. Our help. Of course, I'm on it. Hey, look who decided to show up. Nice to see you too, Liza. Hank, see if you can make sense of this. A puzzle? Let me have a look at it. The puzzle featured a string of letters. JPAR, JPPJ, RUP, PKHR. To the untrained eye, the letters were nonsense, but Ink knew better. You know what ciphers are, right? For the most part, I was about to ask you the same thing. He's a programmer, you should know what ciphers are. Cipher? I barely know anything about ciphers. It's a procedure for encrypting or decrypting data, like a code. In this case, the data is a set of letters. There are tons of different kinds of ciphers, but based on the ciphertext, here I'd imagine it's either a substitution cipher or something equally easy. Based on the string of text, I would imagine it's a substitution cipher, yeah. I only understand half of that. Listen, I don't exactly feel like giving a lecture on encryption right this second. I'm just gonna get to work. Oh, bummer. I'll show you, Ether. Would you? I'd really appreciate it. Hey, Liza, can you fetch me a pen and paper? Alright, I can do that. Liza fumbled about in her bag, pulling out a few sheets of paper and a blue pen. She held the items out in front of her. Will this be right? Yeah, that'll be fine. Ink snatched the items from Liza's extended grip. Holding the slip of paper up against the wall, he quickly jotted down the simplest example he could think of. Alright, come have a look. Okay, so when dealing with encryption, you've got the plain text, which is the message you want to encrypt, and the ciphertext, which is the encrypted message. Now, the way to navigate from plaintext to ciphertext is the cipher. The cipher is the one that's... This cipher is one that's one of the easiest to learn. It's called Caesar's cipher, and it allegedly dates back to the time of Caesar himself. How Caesar's cipher works is that every letter in plain text is substituted with a letter that is further along in the alphabet, based on the cipher's key. In this example, the key is 3, which can also be represented by a D. So you replace every letter with the letter that comes 3 letters later in the alphabet. A becomes D, N becomes Q, and so on. Oh, I get it. So if you knew what the key was, you could go back up the alphabet to uncover what the plaintext letter was. Precisely. Now, if you go beyond the letter Z, you'll just loop around to the front of the alphabet and keep going. Does everyone understand how ciphers work? Seems simple enough. What we need to do is find out which letter is being used as the key. That won't work. Huh? Why not? Because there's no guarantee that this puzzle uses a Caesar cipher. Actually, I'd say it's almost impossible. What makes you say that? A Caesar cipher would make it way too easy to solve, especially a short code like this. I know that, I was just using Caesar cipher as an example, since it's really easy to understand. There's a ton of different kinds of ciphers though. I mean, it might not even be a substitution cipher at all. So how should we proceed? If you'd like, Ray, you can try your hand at more advanced code breaking while I try to solve it as if it were a substitution cipher. Fine, but you'll need to let me write up a substitution cipher chart for you. I think I'll be able to handle it on my own. Thanks. Liza, give me a pen and some paper. I thought Ink said he'd be fine on his own. Ink doesn't know what he's talking about. He's gonna need my help with this. You sure about that? It sounded like he was pretty familiar with ciphers. Besides, Ink seems better at solving puzzles anyway. Fuck off. Ink isn't better than me. Ink's usually the one to come up with the answer, not you. Don't be so petty, Ray. Honestly, I didn't expect a guy your size to get so butthurt about something like this. Shut your goddamn mouth. Don't talk about who solved that. Solved what when you haven't fucking solved anything yourself? Beth doesn't even seem to want to break them up anymore. I can't say I blame her though. Cut it out, guys. We started this argument over a piece of paper. So am I gonna get this piece of paper or what? Yeah, use mine if it matters that much. Ink tore off the bottom half of his sheet and handed it to Ray. Snatching the pen from Ink's hands, Ray headed to the corner of the room and began scribbling away. Must you antagonize him so much? He's the one who started it. Yeah, sure. By the way, Ink, how is it that both of you know so much about ciphers? I'm not an expert or anything, but you study English and Ray studied computer science. They aren't really related, are they? Well, no, not exactly, but cryptography used to be something that linguists did. It used to be all about turning letters into different letters, often using letters or combinations of letters as keys. So there were a lot of letters involved, you know? As technology advanced though, ciphers grew increasingly complex, so complex it fell upon mathematicians, not linguists, to create and solve them. These days, almost all encryption is done on computers, so it makes sense that we're a computer science thing. Is that about right? Yeah, actually. I was just about to say that. I see. It's a really cool field, Liza. You should read up on it if you're interested. Aether, didn't you just say you weren't especially familiar with ciphers? Oh, well. I'm not. Not really. I knew that one little thing, that's all. I see. Maybe we ought to get started. Yeah, let's solve this thing. Alright, this might take a while. It does seem... it's got a lot of, like... a lot of J's, a lot of P's, and a lot of R's. J... hang on. J-P-A-R... J-P-P-J... That one's a bit of a giveaway. R-U-P... P-K-H-R. The JPPJ one is the one that's going to be the one we need to start working on, really. Because that means it starts and ends with one letter, and the two middle letters are the same letter as well. How many words can possibly have that? You know? Even in the entire English language. 4-letter word, starts and ends with the same letter, middle letters are also the same letter. Like, I imagine the middle ones are O's then, right? Or E's. They gotta be vowels. Hang on, let me just... C's. S-E-E-S. That would explain why there's so many J's as well, and so many P's, because S and E are so common. So that means it's... if J is S, and the first one is S, E, something, something, S, E, E, S, something, something, S, no, something, something, E, P-K-H-R. So that's E, something, something, something. Okay, that's a good start though. Something sees something, something. What's the next most common letter? R. R-U-P? Something, something, E. The? That's most likely. 3-letter word ends in E. Common, used for everything. Let's try the. If that's the, that means R is T. So it's S-E something T. And the last one is something, something, something T. Scent? That's the name of the man who's trying to murder us. S-E-N-T. That makes A and N, but there's no more N's. Scent sees the E something something T. That's what I'm thinking. Scent sees the E something something T. E. 4-letter word. E-T. Exit? That's anything that makes sense. E something something T. I can't think of anything else. Nice. Good. That wasn't too bad. I hope I didn't have to cut too much of that. Scent sees the exit. Nice one, Ink. So it was a substitution cipher after all. Now that I think about it, Scent is a pretty weird name. I mean, it's obviously not his real name, but why would you call yourself Scent, of all things? You think it'd be an acronym? Maybe it stands for, super evil something something. Super evil no testicles. Oh, I got nothing. It's just a stupid name. I shouldn't have even asked about it. Ah, shit. Huh? What is it, Ray? I forgot to give you my cipher substitution chart. My bad, guys. Ah, don't worry about it. I managed to figure it out anyway. Yeah, I guess. Could I see it? Yeah, why? I'd like to understand ciphers a little better in case we run into a similar puzzle in the future. Oh, well, here it is. Knock yourself out. Ray passed the half-torn sheet to Ether. She inspected it closely. Something the matter? Could you quickly help me understand how this works, Ink? Sure thing. Just show it to me. So here you've got the, something's wrong. Go on. What's wrong with me? Why am I so weirded out by this? Ink? Yo, Ink. I think I'll ask you a question, or should I explain it instead? Okay, so, shut up. Ink, what's going on with you? Just be quiet. Everyone be quiet. Doesn't make any sense. We use the same one. Ray, what? Look at your chart. What about it? I don't get it. What are you talking about? It isn't even filled in. Oh, speaking of which, I guess you want your pen back, huh? Ray held the pen out in front of him. Rather than take it, Ink bent down on one knee and examined it. What the hell are you doing? Ink lifted himself back onto his feet, nabbing the pen on his way up. Your chart is blue. Duh, it's a blue pen, it's full of blue ink. You're wrong. Here, look at this. We used the same pen, but our ink was a different colour. See? The other contestants said nothing. I have a pen just like this one at home, and the ink is black. Okay, so how about we try writing a little more? Ink flipped his diagram over. Slowly, he dragged the pen across the top of the page. See? It's black. Ray, I want you to write something down again. Fine. Ink handed Ray the pen, which he used then to trace a line right next to Ink's. Blue. Oh, huh. Neat. I guess there's a bit of blue ink in there. That's how you explain it? Really? Yep, because that's the only possible way you could explain it. It's just a manufacturing screw-up. Nothing to get excited about. No, there's more to it than that. Like what? Is it a magic pen or something? I don't know. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but... Ink, don't you think you're taking this a bit too far? It's strange, I'll admit, but you think this is funny, don't you? I never said that. Well, stranger things have happened to us today. Ink could be onto something. You know, possibly. I'm not crazy. We never said you were crazy. Just calm down. There are more important things to worry about right now. Ethan's right. It may be a bit strange, but it's just ink. Just ink, huh? Great. Good to have everyone on board. Are you done then? I recommend getting a move on pronto. I'm with Ray. The door in the hallway ought to be unlocked now. The other contestants nodded and followed Ray's lead. Ink, strangely out of breath, brought up the rear. Why do you have to freak out about it so much? Yeah, it is very weird, but... Jesus. Ink felt even worse as he crossed the hallway. He was drooling almost, his saliva turning salty sweet. As expected, the door at the end of the hall had been unlocked. One by one, the other contestants filed through the door. Ink began to follow the other contestants. But at the last second, he slipped into an adjacent room instead. I don't understand. He let himself fall onto the bed. Why am I the only person worried about the ink? The ink. Everyone had seen it. The ink was black when Ink used the pen, but blue when Ray used it. Ink was convinced that it simply wasn't possible. I don't fucking get it. It was all wrong. The ink was wrong. The pen was wrong. The hotel was wrong. Something always wrong. Ink nearly fell backwards. The room was suddenly alive, churning like a river of paint. A wave of nausea overcame him as he sank to his knees. Ink tried to fight it, to stand up straight, but the room just wouldn't hold still. What? Something began to claw at the inside of his stomach. The pain consumed him. He couldn't stand, he couldn't even scream. The room continued to twist and bend as he gasped for air. Surely, he thought, his stomach was going to explode. Finally, he coughed, heaving a fist-sized clump of bloody mucus onto the floor. Stop, please, make it stop. The pain was relentless. Ink searched for something, anything that might help him. It was at that moment that it appeared. Ink saw a thread. It was a tiny little thing. The thread was the only thing that wasn't moving. Ink reached for it. The thread opened wide. Reaching for it had been a mistake. Ink knew what had happened when one pulled a loose thread too far. The world seemed undone, was torn. Behind it lay nothing. The hole in the world had trapped him. It threatened to swallow him whole. No, please. He would never make it to the door with that tear in the way. Panicked, Ink reached for his final recourse, the device in his pocket. Sean. Yeah, what is it? Please help me. Now. Is it happening again? Worse. I can't. Please, help me. Hard to type, please. Sean, where are you? Sean? I'm here, buddy. Calm down. You're just a bit scared. We all get scared sometimes. You just need to breathe deep, buddy. 2, 3, out. Just like we practiced. Arms up, chin up. I'm not going anywhere. Hank looked up from his Gemini to find that the hole had only grown wider. He lifted his trembling arms into the air, fighting to keep them upright. One breath, then another. One, then another. It's useless. Sean can't help me now. It's over. You need to raise your chin. Ether was there. She didn't notice the tear behind her. In fact, she seemed to walk right through it. Slowly, it closed. Ink wondered if it was even there at all. Of course it's not. It's a breathing exercise, right? You need to raise your chin, too. If you keep it tucked into your chest like that, you won't get enough air. Ink stared at the girl, stupefied. What had just happened? Had Ether been the one to stop it? How long have you been there? I came in just a moment ago. I heard you yell and... I'm sorry. Should I leave? No, it's okay. Please stay. What's going on, Ink? There's blood all over the floor. And your clothes, too. It's... Please just tell me you're okay. I'm okay. Ink was far from okay. But strangely, the worst of it appeared to be over. His breathing was normal, and even though he was still a little lightheaded, he wasn't at the mercy of the feeling in his gut. What happened here? I think I'm going crazy. Definitely. I think I'm going crazy, Ether. Man, that was an intense chapter, but yeah, we're good. We're definitely going crazy. Absolutely. Anyway, that'll do it again. Man, every single episode is just full of shit happening. It's fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.